Hey guys, Trigger John coming at you with the Diablo 4 video. Alright, so for those of you who are very curious, how was the total beta experience for Diablo 4? Does there seem to be potential? And is it something that's going to be a game moving forward in 2023 that a lot of people are really kind of yearning for or wanting to play? Basically, I'm going to use this. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk briefly about my current experience with the beta. We'll kind of talk high level as far as how I think the game is actually going to really translate to viewership and gameplay, right? Like people actually wanting to play the game moving forward, especially in 2023, because there are some key differences in D4 that kind of set it apart from other games. However, there are some things that are just kind of lackluster that may actually cause other players not to be interested. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and show you. So my favorite class that I played so far in the beta was actually going to be here, the Rogue. If you don't know what my character is, let me go ahead and pop him up so you can kind of see the stats that I have here for him. I really enjoyed him. He was pretty good to play, honestly. I didn't get his attack power up as high as I really like it to be, but once again, level 25 beta. It's not like we have a crap ton of time, energy, whatever to really dive into things. I never got any pant essences, which is funny. I could always imprint on another legendary aspect, right, and go ahead and convert that, but why waste the resources, right? I just never got the legendaries that I really wanted. However, I found that this class was a lot of fun. Now, there's a couple of different ways to play it. I'm going to do dedicated videos on these probably right before the launch of Diablo 4. But with that being said, I wanted to preface a lot of what I'm about to tell you guys with just the general knowledge and background of knowing that, hey, yeah, I really enjoyed the Rogue character class more so than the others, because that may correlate more to your thoughts on the experience for the beta. So overall, the beta was pretty fun. Not a whole lot to brag home about because we can only go to level 25, unfortunately. Even when we come over here, like there's not a whole lot we could do or really utilize, right? I mean, pretty simple, pretty basic, really. Gold was definitely a thing. Not enough gold could be had. Couldn't really check out a lot of the alchemy stuff because very limited. Once again, levels, paragons, right? There's a lot of aspects of the game that were pretty much nobody was gonna know what's gonna happen with it, right? Like you weren't gonna know really what the end game is. You weren't going to know like how exactly how balanced is everything going to be, because as far as we know, this is a beta and some things are going to be a little skewed. As you can see here, I got a crap ton of resources as far as gatheringables for alchemy, but like I can't craft incense here. The elixirs are only the weak elixirs because the levels are so low. It's not like I can craft anything better. Upgrading potions, obviously you can see here, these are your potions difference and then the resources gotten. I noticed that even the superior one at the bottom, I don't even have the Forgotten Soul resource. The other ones were able to be attained from the beginning, or in Friend Rose, sorry. But the reason why I'm showing these two is because both of those resources were unable to be gotten during the beta, and Fiend Rose makes a big difference for upgrading skills and stats on gear, and as well as potions. And I wanted to showcase it because we could not test any of that, right? And that's gonna be kind of in-game stuff. Overall, though, the game felt really well put together. It's going to be a little buggy. I fully expected it to be more buggy than what it was, to be honest with you. I thought myself that this was going to be kind of very similar to Diablo Immortal, how everything was pretty buggy on that one, right? Then again, different builder, right? That was NetEase. This is Blizzard. But overall, not terrible. Some of these things too were kind of like meh. It took me forever to get these stupid scattered prisms. Upgrading jewelry, once again, so much gold was needed that it just made things a lot harder than what they needed to. I really wanted to upgrade everything to kind of see what it was going to do, but unfortunately, I just never got the gold. Now, if I could play longer, sure. But I do represent more of the casual type community, right? Like that's kind of what the game is tailored for, to be honest with you guys. So for me, it did work out pretty okay overall. But yeah, some of the things I couldn't really take full advantage of just because of lack of resources and time, really. But a lot of them were pretty cool. And right now I'm just kind of showing you guys a little bit of like the basics, right? Because like, for example, this is how you would imprint. So say I wanted to go ahead and imprint that item, like for those of you who are watching, like, John, why not make that a legendary? I could do this, right? Like Boom, here you go. I get that barrier. It would create this new legendary pant for me. I would change my stats. I would have legendary, I could equip it, bada bing, bada boom. Or I could go from inventory, which would be in here. If I had one extracted, I could drag it in, boom, done, right? I think this whole setup here is kind of cool. This is different than the way Diablo Immortal did it. Slightly different than the way D3 did it. Pretty similar, but not exactly. Crafting sigils is something that was not able to be had. Once again, sigil powder was not available until you get to Nightmare Dungeons. That's the difficulty above what we were able to play, unfortunately. So this whole section here is just totally a moot for us. But enchant item, this was something I was super excited to check out because I wanted to go ahead and empower them, right? So notice like +1 rank of shadow imbuement, right? Well, if I were to take this, and if I had a Fiend Rose, what that means is I could enchant it and roll it again, and you would see if I got to a higher rank, right? Like if I got a higher one, a higher boost. Those types of things are huge, especially when you're talking about like, okay, so some skills here, like for example, this one, +2 rank of twisting in the blades rogue only. It has an option to increase it or make it better, right? Enchant it. That's huge because that's already a +2. So this tells me that if you scatter enough of the affixes on different pieces of gear, you can really stack the power of your character. And that means you really get an objective way of grinding in the game. So even though we don't know what the end game is going to look like, at least we have these minor type of things that really kind of lead us home into the thought process of like, yeah, there may be a viable end game here. There may be something to do later on. Overall, right at the beginning though, it did feel pretty good. Nothing that I could really complain too awful much about other than the Necro seemed to be the most buggy. I had zero connection problems. I had any issues really with the beta at all until I started playing the Necro. I created that character, bugged out. I loaded that character, bugged out. Everything I tried to do with that character was terrible. Gameplay felt great. Necro, yeah, he's broken. Unfortunately, I think there may be some coding issues with the Necro that really, I don't know. Hopefully, obviously they're going to get them fixed before the launch in June, right? One thing I also noticed that I thought was really neat was the simple fact that I could change my wardrobe. So as I was going through and taking pictures and images of everything in D4, so that way I can kind of provide these daily videos for you guys to get you pumped up and ready for the launch of D4. I noticed I could actually check and change all my gear, all transmogs, right? So I thought that was really neat because now I can go ahead and come in here and you can see you can change the cosmetic, you can change all those things. That customization is huge in my opinion. I think it's really neat myself. And yeah, overall, I think it'll be taken very well by the community. And we'll see how it goes. But that's something that I thought was pretty neat and impressive that they did. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Now, there are some things that could be fixed in the game, right? There are some things that were kind of left unsaid. Like this is your available skills that I have opted right here, which is kind of cool. Or if I go to my skill tree, notice that we didn't get a whole lot of skills because we only get to level 25. It left a lot of this tree unutilized. I think there was a lot of missed opportunity where, okay, we have a main skill, then we have a secondary skill, and then we have the tertiary skill, we'll call it. So you have basically main option and then 2 side options, one that's going to lock out the other one. I think this was a missed opportunity. I don't like the way they structured this even a little bit. I feel like that's just kind of a poor way of doing it. It is a little bit more in depth than Diablo Immortal. It's about the same as D3, whereas D3 you would select your skill and then you select the rune that modifies the skill, right? So at least this gives you one more option. So it's not just simply like, hey, select the skill, select the rune, and boom, done, right? That's not a thing here. But yeah, overall, I feel like this was really lackluster. A lot of the skills were kind of really unfortunate to play and balance. We were able to figure out really good combinations. Right, as you can see here, this is the current rogue build that I'm utilizing, and it worked really well, super powerful. Had a lot of fun playing it. Shout out to BGE, he kind of figured it out, told me the build. I played it, tested it, tweaked a few things for myself, for my gameplay, absolutely loved it. But we definitely have to have more skills to notice exactly how powerful these characters are going to be. As of right now, it looks like the rogue and the sorcerer and the necro are going to be the 2 most powerful classes in Diablo 4. And that is a very unfair assessment because we don't have all the skill points. So for all we know, that once we get the extra skill points here, my rogue's just going to dominate, right? Because I'm still going to get another basically 20 some points. So that could potentially make my rogue absolutely broken, especially when you get into Paragon levels, right? That couldn't be figured out, so to speak, in the beta. And I think that's kind of sad myself. Now, I think one thing that was also pretty neat, though, about this, though, even though this is a missed opportunity here, your XP was definitely catered more towards general group play. And I thought that was really cool. Most games don't worry about like, hey, how can we balance this to where anyone from any tier level can go ahead and play with others? That's not something a game typically does, right? And I think Blizzard took a long, hard look at it and really nailed it, because there's no such thing as power leveling really in Diablo 4. There's no such thing as like, I'm gonna go group up with a buddy and he's gonna level me to 50 and instantly, right? That's not gonna be a thing. All monster kills and damage done to a monster are relative, as well as the XP, depending on what level they are. So it really is variable. And you'll notice a big change depending on where you're at, even in the tier. Obviously, if I pull up the map here, selecting the world tier statue, like whenever you go to change, let's say you want to change your class, right? Or not your class, sorry, change your difficulty, come over here to the spear. This is kind of very similar to in Diablo Immortal, where you can change and you can set wherever you're at. But notice at veteran, you get 20% increased experience, as well as 15% more gold. However, the enemies are more challenging. This is pretty standard as far as Diablo is concerned. And you'll also notice the experience gain is going to vary a lot from adventure to veteran mode, right? So that does either way, no matter what one of these you pick, you are going to be limited when you are trying to power level a champion. So keep that in mind. I personally, I love that fact. I like that they did that. I like that they made it more inclusive and balanced. It kind of forces players to play as a team with a group more so than not, right? Which is huge in my personal opinion, because what we found in Diablo Immortal, even though that game was so flawed and fundamentally hated, the simple fact that you had the camaraderie was so huge in that game that it made a big difference. So I do feel like by them doing this, it kind of promotes more of the camaraderie and promotes more of the group play in Diablo 4. Especially since this is catered towards casual. So now you're going to have a casual group play game. That's a good AAA title for like an ARPG. So I do feel like this game has a lot of potential. Is this game as in-depth and complicated as Path of Exile? Absolutely not. Is this game in its depth and as robust as Last Epoch? Absolutely not. This is not that type of a game. It is a casual game. I would definitely lean this more towards they tried to go more MMO and be more casual than they did hardcore fanatic like D2, like Mephisto grinds or Path of Exile, gonna run maps and beat everything, right? Like this game isn't it. As of right now, it's just not it. And I don't think that's the audience they're trying to cater to anyway. So leave a comment down below. What audience do you think D4 is targeting? Do you think it's targeting the casual group? Do you think it's targeting the mobile group? Are they trying to get people invested and interested in the ARPG, I guess, game genre? Let me know. I'm very curious to see how everyone else feels in the community about it. Me personally, this game, in my opinion, was 100% designed for the filthy casual, and I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead, and that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.